Thanks for tuning in to King Talk channel. Just doing another video, quick podcast on LeBron James. I know you all have heard it. This story specifically coming from ESPN News, but at his LA mansion, across the big black fence, graffiti was sprayed on the fence from some vandals. Most likely probably some Golden State fans. The home was in LA. They spray painted nigger across the big black fence. So as far as the race thing, that's something that, I'm not really going to dive too deep in, but I know you heard of the sayings, $40 million slave, things like that, or, no matter how much money you make, you still considered a nigga. Sayings like that, no matter how big you make it in corporate or whatever titles you have or however many degrees you have, you still are looked at as a nigga. Unfortunately, I've dealt with it, working in corporate America. Or in the boardrooms or having certain discussions or certain presentations I've done. I have 2 degrees, have a master's degree. I've been in, corporate America, still working corporate. So, unfortunately, at the end of the day, no matter how much, education I have or how much, ways I exude as far as me being pretty intellectual or having great knowledge on the job that I do at hand, unfortunately, that's still what they look at me as, just being another black man in America. Unfortunately, we do have stereotypes with the rap music, the movies. Yeah, unfortunately, we have painted ourselves in a bad name, but hey, can you blame us? If it's a way for us to, make it out the hood or the ghetto, and the only way to do it is either playing sports, making the rap music, or making racial profile type of movies, sometimes that's the only avenue. I know you can always go to college, but college is not for everybody. I only went to college just because I was raised up a certain kind of way, that it was pounded in my head that you had to get education, you had to go to college. So that was something I did, but if I could go back, I probably would have maybe learned a certain trade or certain type of skills, but that's just what was pounded into my head. But nowadays, you have a lot of entrepreneurs that are doing well without college degrees. So you don't necessarily have to go to college to get an education, but at the same time, with me being in corporate America, with 2 degrees, a master's degree, they still look at me as the same way. Unfortunately, that's just how it is being black in America. This is a white society. Our forefathers were white. This country was built from white people. So, that's just how it is. But going into that's just a different subject. But basically, LeBron James, him having a racial slur, LeBron James is at the pinnacle of success. He has several businesses. He has a great sports management firm. He has the multi-million-dollar endorsement with Kia. His shoe deal. It's just so many different facets and different avenues that he's making money from social media. Everything. He could quit basketball today and still make multi-millions without even playing basketball another day. So just all the different avenues that he's traveled. He has multiple sources of income on that. This guy is really clean cut, really clean image, never went to jail. You never hear any subjects in the news about him cheating or stepping out on his wife. He goes to basketball practice with his kids. You never see him acting, hood or ghetto in anything. I mean, he's kind of just been on the straight and narrow, but it just goes to show you, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much people love you, no matter how much the media loves you, hey, we're still looked at as a black man. We're just, considered to be just athletic people, great physical specimens. And sometimes we get labeled, that's all we can do is play sports. So unfortunately, that people, they just got to get out of that mentality. They actually got to, wise up. They need to be more, more free based as far as opening up their mind, just giving a free frame of thought instead of having that same mind frame on race. I mean, you can see the world now as a melting pot. I mean, I'm out here in San Antonio, and out of all the cities I lived in, it's the most interracial Dayton I've ever seen. So the world is 2017. I mean, people got to wake up. We just had a black president. So the world is changing. We got to open up our horizons and our perspectives on things. We can't be racist about everything. We can't be racist about anything. I was raised that, it's only one race, and that's just the human race. But this is a good thing to show that it is a lot of arrogant black people out there that think that, because they drive in a Mercedes or, they have all these different titles. They may be an executive at their job, or, they stay in this neighborhood. LeBron James' house was in Brentwood, one of the most high-priced locations in LA that there is. There's a lot of black people that feel like, hey, I'm above that. I don't deal with those other blacks, or I don't waste my time going on this side of the hood or this or that. They forget on where they come from. So this was something good. I guess you could say it was a negative, that it did have some positives. So certain black people, they can look at that to know that, hey, you know what? I need to keep it in perspective. I'm doing this. I'm making the six figures. I may be a millionaire. I may live in this house, or I may drive this car, but at the end of the day, I'm still black, and I need to know my culture, and I need to stay in tune with my culture. I don't need to forget about my culture. So I think that's the bright side of the story. But basically, I just want to do a quick podcast on that, as far as LeBron James and what he's going through in the midst of him trying to get a repeat for this title. Just going to read a few quotes as far as what he said at the press conference. Again, this is from ESPN.com, but just going to read a quick excerpt as far as what he said in the media day at the press meeting. So basically what he said, as I sit here on the eve of one of the greatest sporting events we have, race and what is going on comes again. He also said, on my behalf, family's behalf, I look at this as if this sheds a light and keeps the conversation going. My family is safe. That's the most important. Just shows that racism will always be a part of the world, part of America. Hate in America, especially for African Americans, African Americans is living every day. It's a hidden most days. It is alive every single day. I think back to Emmett Till's mom and the reason she had an open casket. She wanted to show the world what her son went through in the terms of a hate crime in America. No matter how much money you have, how famous you are, how much people admire you, being black in America is tough. So that just goes to show you, this guy, he's the greatest basketball player in the world. He was considered the next coming of Michael Jordan. So this just shows he's at the pinnacle of his success, about to go for a repeat for the NBA Finals. And he's going through something like that. So black people, just keep in perspective. You can make the money, you can stay in the fancy houses, fancy neighborhoods, but just keep in the perspective that no matter what, you're still black, and stay in tune with your black society, and don't ever feel too uppity that, you know, you've forgotten about it. And white people, or whatever people that may have certain prejudice against black people, I mean, just be open-minded. I mean, it's 2017, you know, it's only one race, that's the human race. So just keep that in perspective, you know, and just have respect for your fellow man. That's all I gotta say. You like the video, comment, subscribe, let me know.